Today we're going to start something new. It's called Multiview Orthographic Drawing. So far we've been doing everything in 2 dimensions. We've shown height and we've shown length, but we haven't shown the 3rd dimension, width, thickness. So that's what we're going to do today. Multiview orthographic drawing is a way that we can show different views of the same object and show 3 different dimensions: height, length, and depth. If we're looking at this wooden block right here, this is what I'm going to draw today as the example. It has a lot of sides, but if it were still a solid 3-dimensional rectangle, prism, it would have 6 sides. It would have a front and a back, a top and a bottom, a right and a left side view. That should be correct for you, a right and a left side view. I'm doing it in reverse. We don't need to show all 6 sides. We can show 3 and convey all of the information. The 3 main views that we show are front, top, and right side. If we show the front, you know what the back's going to look like. If you show the top, we know what the bottom's going to look like. If you know the right side, we know what the left side is going to look like. So front, top, and right side. So that's what we're going to do today. These blocks that we have in school have measurements on them. So I'm going to use the measurements on here. At home, you have your Larry Bob's block. So I am going to start there. And I'm going to start with the front view. I've decided that this is the front view because it has the most information. Usually the front side is the one with the most information. Sometimes you orient it just so it fits on your paper. Luckily in our case, both are true today. So I know it's going to have lines down here as a base. An extra piece of paper here. So I have length 2 1/8, 1 1/4, and then 1 3/8. So that means that's 3/4, 4 3/4. Did I do that right? Yeah. 4 3/4. And now I can measure in 2 1/8. Measure it back 1 1/4. Now I have these 4 points. Next, I'm going to draw the height. Total height is 1 7/8. One and 7/8. And the front is only 1 inch tall. And when I say front, I'm sorry, the front edge of the front view. Show this little cutout. Those are 3/8 of an inch tall. You can see that I'm doing this pretty quickly. I could be more accurate with where my lines end. I am being accurate with measurement, but doesn't have to look too pretty. I am going to clean up these corners, but nothing crazy. That's just for demonstration purposes. Now we need to draw that ledge, and then that coming down. I'm gonna look up top. This is 15/16. Out. Make a mark. And this is my front view of my block. You'll see that the block is not actually to scale, so I can't trace it, and also it's not perfect corners. So that's my front view. Next, I'm going to draw my top view. What does my top view look like? Well, I'm going to look at the top of my block. Got a front and a back of it, the two edges. I see this line right here, so I'm going to draw that. Excuse me. Now what's cool about Multiview Orthographic Drawings is that the front's here, the top is going to be above it. And I don't need to measure the length. I've already measured the length. So all I have to do is draw a line, for these 3 sections. I'm going to choose any spot really. Go right there. That's going to be this edge. Now, how far is it from here to there? Doesn't say, doesn't say, doesn't say. I can't get that information from here. Oh, 1 5/8 of an inch. 1/2 5/8. And now we can look down at the block, and that's what we see. We see the top view. We have the front and the top. Next is the right side view. To draw the right side view, we don't have to measure. We already know where the base is. First, let's look at the block. What is the right side going to look like? All right, it's going to look like that. So we know where the base is, know where that corner is, that first edge, and then we know where the top of it is. I could measure the width and make that. And with this one, that'd be pretty simple. But this is a thinking class, not a drawing class. There are ways around doing that. And this is called the miter method. If you have had wood tech, if you haven't had wood tech, you should take wood tech. You'll know about the sliding compound miter saw, which is a saw that we can use to cut angles, usually 45s. In this case, we're going to use our 45, 45, 90 triangle to do the miter method. To do this, I'm going to line up my upper right-hand corner of my front view. Now this one doesn't have an upper right-hand corner, it's missing it. So I'm going to go where it would be. I'm going to extend this line, extend that line. That gives me that point. From that point, and these are guidelines, so it's going to be pretty light. Or at least it definitely would be if it wasn't drawn for you. I'm going to draw a 45-degree triangle, angle. I'm going to use this line to transfer measurements from the top view to the right side view. So I'm going to take my pencil, line it up with this edge, make a mark. Transfer this edge over, make a mark. And now all I have to do is bring those marks down. I go to that intersection, that mark. This intersection, make that. So you'll see, since the three views are all the same object, they relate to each other. Ooh, I erased too much there on that corner. And this shows a lot of information, but it doesn't show all of it. We just learned about lines. These are all object lines. And we could add dimensioned and extension lines on here. We might not need center lines. We throw a center line in the middle of this if we wanted to, but next thing is hidden lines. When I'm looking at the front view, I can see that cutout. When I'm looking at the top view, I can't see it, but it's still there. So I need to show that it runs all the way across. Take my triangle, line up with the edges. Again, I don't have to measure because I've already measured it. But now I'm just going to draw a dotted line in the top view. And now if I'm looking at this orthographic drawing, the top view, I can see, all right, that's coming up, that's a solid object line. Oh, and there's a hidden line right there. What is that shape? What does that look like? Well, I can look at the front view and see it. The same goes for the right side view. When you're looking at it, you can't see that cutout. So, transfer that over. And now we have front, top, right side. This is how you draw a multi-view orthographic drawing. We have a lot of blocks at school. You are going to use your Larry Bob's block. So since you folded it already, there's a front, a top, and a right side view of that drawing, of that block. So what you're going to do now is draw it. There's no measurements on there because everything is in 1 inch increments. So how many square inches is it? How many inches long? How many inches tall? How many inches deep? You'll need to show all of this. Good luck. I'm available if you have any questions.